All right, what's up, you fucks? McDonald's just announced they have a new cheese Danish. Huge announcement, big news coming out of McDonald's. Cheese Danish. I tried to order the cheese Danish, and I think the employee was so used to hearing things like cheeseburger or whatever that when I was like cheese Danish, he's like, "What are you like?" He didn't understand. And not that I'm blaming him, it was just kind of funny because it's like, yeah, it's like you got a cheeseburger, you got a cheese Danish. They don't even seem, in the same ballpark. The cheese of a cheese Danish is so different than American cheese on a cheeseburger. What a good thing to say. What a great use of time. What a great series of videos. It's great. It's all great. This is a cheese Danish. It's hot. This thing is hot. It looks like a little pie. This is honestly way more intense than I expected it to be. I expected it to be cold, like what you'd see in like a bag at a school cafeteria or something. It has a fork. I wasn't expecting to eat this with a fork. I don't know. I'm kind of not liking how fancy it is. It was also like $2.50. That's a lot of money for what effectively amounts to a donut. And if I'm paying this much, it's like, just get the fucking cinnamon roll. Their cinnamon rolls are good. Have you guys tried these cinnamon rolls? Oh, you have? Yeah, no, they're good, right? Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's not... I mean, it's real good, honestly. It's, there's a couple parts of the dough that felt a little bit undercooked, which that sucks. It's got this kind of soft... It's a lot like the cinnamon bun. I don't know. The dough was very kind of light, but not airy, kind of bready. The frosting was whatever you call it. The filling was warm, a little bit tangy. I would say it maybe tastes even less like cream cheese or whatever it's used to make these things than other things that I've got. It's a bit more sugary, but warm and goopy, and it was almost like a little weird pie sort of thing. And it had these clumps of like not brown sugar chunks, but like it was like brown sugar, clumps of some sort of sugar. I really like a cinnamon roll, but a cinnamon roll is like super sweet. Whereas, the cheese kind of aspect of it made it so it was, it was a bit more complex, a bit less overwhelmingly sweet. And it wasn't like doused in filling, so that like the bread kind of, stood on its own. But you're not eating pastries because it's like, oh, look, it's bread, so it's like, that's not great. And then especially since, some of it was kind of underdone, it's like, yeah, maybe I'd just rather have, something that's more baked and less bready and more just like doused in sugar. I don't know. Your mileage may vary. Better than I expected, I guess. Also, not as cheap as I expected, which is a downside. So it was like better than I expected, which is good. But I kind of wanted something like cheaper and shittier, which is bad, It was honestly probably like 3+ forks. But the way it hit was like 2 forks. Like, something can be like a good elevated dish, but if it doesn't like hit you the same way, like grilled cheese, for instance, you get a really crazy elevated grilled cheese, but then it's like, but I'd rather just have like white bread with American cheese, And so it's kind of like that, where it's like, it's good, but it doesn't hit right. And so for that, I give it 2 forks. Get the fuck out of here.